Yes, good morning, everyone.
Good
We
morning, sir.
will. Good morning. We will start with our session. And today, as we had discussed yesterday, today we will be taking again, or we will be discussing the case on Satyam Computer System. So we will be discussing this particular case related to Satyam Computer System. Yesterday, I had requested that please go through the case so that it will be easier for all of us to be part of the discussion. So, without taking much time, we can start with the discussion. Anyone who wants to initiate the discussion related to the start of the company, then how the company was doing, in which area the company was functioning, then how the problem came in, when the problem started, then how the company tried to overcome that problem, how that problem came into open, and what were the after effects of that particular problem. So these are the main points which are to be highlighted in this today's discussion on corporate governance. So any one of you can start the discussion. These 6 7 points which I have just talked about are to be highlighted in this particular case. Yes, any one of you can start the discussion now.
Good
Yes,
morning, sir.
good morning, Mel.
I would like to start.
Okay. Mel,
Uh, yes, sir.
just a moment. I think yesterday you had initiated, na? So
Right.
somebody else should get the chance to initiate the discussion.
Sure, sir.
In case for one more minute, if no one is interested to initiate the discussion, then of course, yes, you can start with it. We will wait for
Okay,
one
sir. No
minute
issue.
because everyone should be given a chance, right?
Right, sir.
Okay. Now, anyone who wants to start the discussion, please remember it's whenever we are talking about case, there cannot be a one answer to a case. For example, for this particular case, your solution can be different from my solution. I feel that this was the most important problem. You may feel that no, that was not the most important, but something else was the most important problem. I may give a particular solution, you may give some another solution. So, in case there is no one single solution, whenever a paper checker is assessing a case based answer, he is just going to check about your solution and whether your solution is based on correct information or not. So there can be more than one solution to a particular case, there can be more than one answer to a particular question of a case, but what is checked is whether your answer, whether your solution is based on logic or not. That logic is checked here, right? Whereas in normal question and answers, suppose if a question is asked, define corporate governance. So it is expected that everyone should define corporate governance in a similar manner. So that question and answer is different, and here question and answers are different in case studies. So your answer should be based on some logic, and you should provide valid reasons for your answers, and that reasons should be based on authentic information. So that is the only difference between case study and regular question and answers. Yes, now you can start with the discussion. Anyone can start with the discussion. We will wait for 1 minute, otherwise one volunteer is ready. Okay, Mahal, you can start with the discussion.
Okay, sir.
Yes, Mahal.
Yeah. So the Satyam company was founded by Ramalingam Raju. Okay. It was a
Yes,
computer service limited,
yes,
and it was founded in 1987 Hyderabad,
yes,
where it started with 20 employees, and the
yes,
business was really going good. It offered an
yes,
IT services where it started with
yes,
the BPO sector, and
yes,
it also went to aerospace, defense, banking, and many other fields like manufacturing, public service, education, rental. So
yes,
the
very good.
company was really good. Okay, so they
Yes,
had the employees had a lot of greed over the competition, stakeholders, and investors. So they started
okay,
listing their company in the SEBI.
yes,
So for a lot of money issues which were growing, and they started finding the loopholes in the government.
okay. Who started finding that?
The Raju and
Yes,
their
yes, yes.
okay. So after finding the
Okay,
loopholes in the government, they started
okay,
listing their company in the stakeholders. Okay.
okay,
So the total market capitalization became up to uh, $3.2 million.
okay,
So after that,
okay,
the company started going good.
okay,
So the the government had a doubt where what is the problem main going on. So there was a
okay,
CBI investigation which took in April 1999,
okay.
and they got to know many things about the company where they started making fake, transactions and
Okay.
fake receipts.
Okay. Now here, sorry for the interruption. I'll just want to correct you. It was not in the year 1999. It was in 2009 when the fraud came into open. Then CBI inquiry started, but CBI inquiry revealed that the misappropriation of accounts had started in 1999. Right? Now you can start.
Okay, sir. Sorry.
Yes, yes, no problem. Yes, yes, yes. Very good. Yes.
Yes, sir. So there were a lot of misinterpretation about the company where people started taking more shares, and
Okay.
of the fake receipts and bonds which had happened.
Yes, very
So
good.
the company started growing really good, and at the
Okay.
end, when got to know what had happened,
Yes.
what fake trades they did.
Yes.
Yeah, so that much only I got to know about that.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Anyone else would like to add anything? Okay. I'll add a few points here. As you have correctly mentioned, Mel, it was started in 1987. The history of the company was absolutely correct. And now, why the problem started? Why the problem started? As you have said, that company got into expansion mode, right? They started with offshoring, of IT companies, of the American companies or European companies, they started handling their back-end offices. They started with IT company, and very soon they started expanding. They were doing businesses in healthcare, they were doing businesses in aerospace, IT industry, pharmaceutical industry, educational industry, and various other industries they have started expanding into. Now the basic problem is related to that when a company is expanding its business, how you are managing your expansion is very important. Now, in this case, it is written that greed for money, power, competition, success, and prestige compelled Mr. Raju to ride the tiger. Right now, here we can say that greed is what that you are inclined to earn more money, more money, more money. You are not happy with your today's collection or present position of the company. But if we talk about the competition or growth, this type of greed is essential if you want to grow your company. Only thing, when we compare this greed with corporate governance expects that company should earn money. Yes, it also expects that company should grow. There has to be greed. If there is no greed, then no company will grow. But what is expected is that you should earn more money, but on ethical practices. For earning more money, to support your greed for earning more money, companies should not get involved into some unethical practices. So the basic problem here was related to unethical practices. When Mr. Raju started expanding his business, he wanted to earn money in a very short period of time. He wanted to earn money with the help of a shortcut. And shortcut is not ethical practice. If you are following some shortcuts, you are not following, or you are using the loopholes of certain laws, then it is not a ethical practice. So that was the main problem, that he started into unethical practices to support his greed. And that was the starting point from where the downfall started taking place in the year 1998. It was came into open in 2008, but things had started taking place in 1998 itself. Now, the second problem here is, whenever a company board is functioning, they are having certain fiduciary duties. Fiduciary duties means that they are given a trustee kind of duties. Now, what happens in trust is that money is raised and a trust is created just to see to it that whatever money is expended or is spent on a particular project, that is for the goodwill of the society, or for whatever purpose that trust is being created. Same thing, same type of duties are here allotted to the directors also. So when you are taking care of the money of shareholders, it is not your money which you are using for expansion, which you are using for growth. It is the money of your shareholders, which you have collected by selling the shares of the company or through other modes. So that money should be invested in a proper manner. It should not be invested on uh, only the wish of the chairman of the company, but the board of directors should see to it that money is properly spent and money is properly utilized for the benefit of the company. That was the second thing. The one Chinese proverb is used in this case, and that Chinese proverb is related to riding the tiger. Riding the tiger means that when you take we had under risk management, we had discussed that risk should be taken by a company if the company wants to grow, but that risk should be calculated risk. That risk should be supported by a correct, authentic information. Riding the tiger means that you are taking a risk which is we can say a very serious kind of risk, a very heavy risk you are taking. And once you take that risk, there is no option of coming back. You have now you have mounted on the tiger, but you are unable to come down of the tiger. So riding the tiger means that you have taken such a big risk that now there is no option for you to come down. So that is riding the tiger. So whenever risk is taken, risk should be calculated and risk should be supported by a strong information. Now Satyam Raju, he thought that as his company is doing very good from 87 to 98, whatever project he was handling, he was getting success in each and every project. And at that particular time, for that 11 years, everything which was practiced was ethical, not unethical. And because of that success, he thought that whatever he will do, he will get profit out of that. And to earn more profit, to be the best among the competitors, he started taking very heavy risks. And that heavy risk compelled the downfall of the company. And when he knew that now he had taken a very heavy risk, now there he cannot come back. Now there is no option for him to come back. So then, to save his company, to save the reputation of his company, he started into some unethical practices. That was the third problem faced in the case. Now again, as we know that it is not easy for a person to start a company, and definitely it is not at all easy to make a company one of the best company in the country over a short period of 10 years. You just imagine that in a period of 10 years, if he is able to make his company one of the best company, then that person was definitely having a lot and lot of talent. Only thing is, he took a very heavy risk, and that risk compelled him, or because of that risk, no option was available to him. Either he had to declare bankruptcy in 1999, or he had to take another risk to save his reputation or save his company, that get involved into some unethical practice, and later on turn that unethical practice into ethical practice, that raise some money from some other venture and utilize that money for the company, for his particular company. And once everything is okay, then again he can shift back to some ethical practices. That was his, but that could not materialize. If you would have read the case clearly or carefully, Raju had two other companies also, or his family had other two companies. Can anyone give me the name of that company?
Morning, sir. I want to add some points in this case, sir.
Very good, very good. Please go ahead, sir. Yes,
Sir,
sir.
it will take 2-3 minutes.
Please.
I'm
Yes,
just
yes,
brief you
yes.
about this case. I just analysis, sir, about the Satyam case.
Very good. Yes. Yes, sir.
What this is all about? This is about the corporate governance and fraudulent audit practices allied in the convenience with the auditors and chartered accountants. Means ये सारा का मिली भगत थी सर, सब लोगों ने मिलके ये किया था. Then how it's progress. So I want to add
Absolutely correct. Yes,
here,
yes. Yes, yes, sir.
because here out of the 5 directors, 2 directors were student. They were
Okay.
lecturers in some college and they were not aware about the what's going in the company. They not even aware about the transaction the company is doing. They are just the director. They make because he paid lot of money to them and they make
Yes.
it as a director.
Okay.
So here, sir, I am telling about April 2002 to 2008. I am telling about only financial data.
Okay.
Here,
Okay. Okay.
from 2002 to 2008, 7,855 crores total amount financial irregularities in the Satyam Computers scam. Means they
Okay.
show out of 7,800, 206 crore as a foreign gain out of that,
Okay. Okay.
foreign exchange
Okay.
gain.
Okay.
Then they make 500 plus companies as a fictitious companies. In that,
Okay.
they raise 7,500 plus invoices.
Okay.
And in January 2009, there were 45,000 employees were there. So he created 6,000 plus salary account as a dummy account, and company
Okay.
transferring every month some amount to them in that account,
Okay.
and they supposed to withdraw from the backside. Means all
Okay.
were
Okay.
fictitious account. So Raju maintaining through the detail of Satyan accounts in minutes of the meeting since 2002. Raju stored
Yes.
record of the account from the latest financial year 2008-9 in a computer server called My Home Hub. This data is from the
Okay.
CBI, sir, I'm telling.
Yes. 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 Yes.
The fake invoices detail from 2002 till January 7, 2009. Raju out came
Yes.
with a dramatic 5-page confession where stored in a 2 separate internet portal, means IP address. Fake invoices and
Absolutely.
bills were
Yes.
created with software application. On
Yes.
time, that was the software name. So he created a
Yes.
software.
Okay.
And one more, sir, one company, such company जिसका paid up capital था 5 lakh, he made an
Okay.
investment of 90 crores in that, and
Okay.
unsecured loan, he received loan from the bank 600 crore.
Okay.
So
All these
then,
are unethical practices. Yes. Yes. Yes.
then why did he need the money? So the case so raised was used to purchase several thousand of acres of land in the Andhra Pradesh to ride the booming reality market. If you are aware, sir, 2006 to 2014, that was the period in the real estate.
Yes.
So he
Yes.
want
Yes.
to
Yes.
invest money in that. It presented
In
a
fact,
growing problem. In fact,
हाँ, हाँ.
means Satyam, and every attempt was eliminated to gap filed. मतलब उसने सारी चीजें he made very plannedly, उसने ये सारी चीजें करी थी. Then
Yes.
how,
Yes.
where
Yes.
the problem arise? वहां पर problem arise हुई थी. He raised the fake invoices in the name of the company called Maytas, MAYTAS.
Yes. Metas
ये
is.
उनका फैमिली बिजनेस था. His brother and other his in-laws, they were involved in that company, and its Metas is a real estate company.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
They get services. Satyam was showing that they are getting service from Metas. They generated the fake invoices, and they were continuously paying to them. And ultimately,
Yes.
one day, Raju realized that there were no case in the company. So
Yes.
what he did, he in 2008-9 in the financial statement, case bank balance,
Yes.
he actual was 321 crore. He shows
Okay.
5,361 crore.
Okay.
Operating profit was 61 crore. He shows 649 crores. So
Yes.
there were
That.
difference of 588 crores. So
Yes. Yes. Yes.
so ये सारा चीज है. And there were 2 PwC में Price Waterhouse auditors were involved. They were partner in India. they were
Yes.
involved in this case, and they were well aware about what he is cooking inside the Satyam.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Now,
Yes, sir.
I
And
would like to add,
yes, sir.
you talked about the real estate company that he was investing money in real estate
Meta.
company. Yes,
Yes,
of
sir.
course.
Yes.
He had two sons, and in
Yes.
their name, he had that company, Maitas company. Now,
Yes,
Maitas,
sir.
if you reverse this company, it comes to Satyam only.
Yes, sir.
Maytas. It is
MAYTSS Meta also. Yes, sir.
Satyam. So it is exactly the reverse name of Satyam itself.
Yes, sir.
Now, what in his confession, what he said was that he had taken a heavy risk. He wanted to earn more and more money in a short
Money.
span of time, but he was saying that he because of some because there was no hope available, there was no option available to come back, so he started into unethical practices. And the balance which you are saying, that actual cash and bank balances were 321, and he had reported that the company is having a balance of 5361 crore rupees. Now, what he was planning to do is, as his real estate business was doing well, he was saying, or he was planning, that he will use his real estate money to adjust this actual and reported finance with the help of his real estate money, so that his reputation is intact, and so that his company will remain the topmost company. Now, as you said that internal auditors were involved, yes, internal auditors were involved. As you said that some new directors, student directors were there on the board, yes, they were on the board. But apart from that, if we talk about other independent directors, were the world's renowned experts who were part of the board of directors
Yes, sir.
of
Yes,
the
sir.
Satyam group of companies. I'll just name few of the directors. One of the director for the Satyam group of companies was Mr. Vinod K. Dham. He is also called as father of Pentium. He was a senior most employee with Intel company. So you can imagine at what level of expert he had attracted, or he had convinced to join in their board. So he was the father of Pentium, who was the senior most employee of Intel US, was a independent director with Satyam group of companies. Then Ram Mohan Rao, he was dean of Indian School of Business. That means director of Indian School of Business, Hyderabad. He was again a independent director in the board of Satyam. Next was US Raju. He was former director of IIT New Delhi. Then next was Mr. T.R. Prasad. He was former Union Cabinet Secretary. Then next was Mr. M. Srinivas. He was a retired professor who taught economics and business administration in many US universities. Next was Mr. Krishna Palelu. He was a professor at Harvard Business School. So not only the board was part of some fictitious name, or some names who were not having enough experience, but the other independent director, these 5 6 independent directors were at that particular time were world's renowned expert in the field of IT industry. So you can imagine that such a talent was part of the board, but they had ignored this type of scam. Now, how they ignored, again, when we talk about that independent director should not get involved in the actual functioning of the company. Now here, how independent director were also involved in the company functioning. I'll just give you one example. A professor, his name is Krishna Palepu. He was a professor of IT in Harvard Business School. Harvard Business School, we all know that it is the best, the topmost business school of the world. So he was a senior professor at Harvard Business School who was appointed, who was nominated as board director. Now, how Satyam favored him, how Raju favored him, he gave him a independent contract. Now, Mr. This Krishna Palelu, he was given a external consultancy project of the company, and 87 lakh consultancy fees was paid to Mr. Krishna Palelu in the year 2007. So you can imagine that if such type of consultancy is being favored to an independent director, how we can imagine that that independent director will remain independent director. So how unethical practices can help to make independent director unindependent or independent. So that is the case with Satyam group of this Satyam computer network. So when he gave his confession, he said that yes, because of some heavy risk he had taken, he could not come back. He had no option. Only option was to close the company in 1998, or he went on that, okay, I'll go for another unethical practice, I will earn more money from that, and that whatever money I will be earning, I'll be utilizing this money for the benefit of my this company. And how he earned that money, how he raised capital, that is very simple. He inflated his account, he manipulated the accounts of the company. As Rajesh sir has mentioned, that he had whatever information that the company was having a cash balance in 2008, actual balance was 321 crore. But when it was reported to SEBI or other stock exchange agencies, it was reported that the company is having a actual balance of not 321 crore, but the company is having an actual balance of 5,361 crores. So you can imagine, if a company is earning so much of profit, automatically the shareholders or the share prices increases, because more people are inclined to buy such type of shares. So that was these were some of the reasons why the company got into trouble. So it is not that only experts, if they are appointed on the board, they will save the company or they will grow the company. We have seen that how world renowned experts were appointed, but they were also unable to save the company. Now, the reason behind why the independent directors could not perform, the reason was that they were so busy that they could not give or could not devote enough time for the company. So if an expert is appointed as director, who is a world renowned expert, but if the expert is unable to devote time for the betterment of the company, what is the use of that expert? That was realized afterwards, that if the director had given enough devoted enough time to the company, if they had carefully gone through with the all details or all accounts statements of the company, they would have easily realized well in advance that company is doing some misappropriation, and they would have stopped, or at that particular time that misappropriation was not at that particular level which was at the level when it was detected in 2008. We are running short of time, so what I will request is, as you are not having your second lecture today, decision science lecture will not be there. So once our time is over, immediately rejoin for 5-10 minutes. We will complete this case, and tomorrow onwards we will start with a new topic. So we need to complete this case. Some important points are still remaining, so we will complete that. So once it gets disconnected, I'll request everyone that please rejoin for 5-10 minutes, right? So we were discussing that this particular, and what had happened is the external auditors, that is the Price Waterhouse, as well as the internal auditors of the company and the independent auditors, those who spotted this problem, they were say money was given to them, extra incentives, extra consultancy projects, as we had just discussed, extra consultancy projects which shared those people so that they can earn more money, and they just keep quiet. Now Satyam group of now this if we talk about the honorarium or remuneration of the board of directors of Satyam, it was realized after the analysis was done in 2019 that Satyam was the highest, they highly paid their independent directors, highly paid. The highest pays were given at that particular time by any company in India. That company was Satyam company. They paid. Suppose if the other top company is paying them say 10,000 per meeting, Satyam company was paying 15,000 or 20,000 per meeting. So that is how they were able to attract the best talent of the world, and because of that, the company could mention in their annual reports that these are the independent directors, and after going through